Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tyler, and today I am here to bring you guys my first video on the godly show on Amazon Prime, aka Invincible. And I'm honestly glad I get to talk about this show, which is just peak fiction, you know? But I actually did talk about this show on my community tab, asking you guys if you guys would like to see content on Invincible, and the majority of you did say yes, but only like 200 of you voted. But I decided to just say, you know what, I don't even care what anyone's gonna say. Even though the majority did win, I didn't really care, and I was just going to make the video regardless. Because at this point that I'm currently talking about, I just finished the show, and I was really contemplating on making content. That's how gassed I really thought the show was, and it's not just me thinking that it's gas and it's actually bad. No, this show is definitely really good, guys. So please go watch it on Amazon Prime, support these goats. This show is amazing. And if you're gonna give me that, oh, I can't watch Invincible because I don't have Amazon Prime. Yeah, I know you don't, and I know you watch the majority of your shows on that pirated website. Yeah, before I get the FBI on you, you better watch Invincible. But yeah, all jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into why Invincible not only has iconic superhero tropes, but also twists it to the point to where it really is unique in its own way, and honestly, one of the best superhero shows of all time. Oh yeah, if I didn't make it obvious enough, this video will contain spoilers from episode 1 through 5 of Invincible. Now, I don't even know how a show that's not even finished and is only like halfway through the amount of episodes that it's supposed to release before ending its first season became quite literally one of my favorite comic book TV shows, period. Now, I think before I specifically talk about why Invincible changes the superhero genre or how it does justice, I need to talk about how it does the superhero genre in its own unique way. And also, I get to talk about the narrative significance of the show so that people can actually be convinced that the show is actually good. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now. So the first thing I want to get into is the introduction of the show, where we essentially see the perspective of two cops, and then suddenly these random aliens come in and trying to beat them, but no fear, as the off-brand Justice League is here. We got Aquaman, Flash, fucking Batman. Nah, but we have the Guardians of the Globe, who are essentially the Justice League of this universe, protector of the innocent, blah blah blah, and we see them having a little bit of a hard time with these guys. However, then Omni-Man would then be shown to come in and help them, establishing how he's essentially like Homelander. You know, he doesn't really follow the hero system, and he's kind of just his own guy. He's also the father of Mark Grayson, who soon discover his powers when we first see him, and he's also the protagonist of the story. We see Mark clearly being, you know, hyped about being a hero or having powers, and then soon becoming a hero. And we can even see Mark wanting to be a hero even earlier in the episode when he tries to stick up for Amber, but in reality he just gets slammed by the bully. You know, he doesn't have super strength or anything, so he's just gonna get slammed by this bootleg Eddie Brock. However, similar to how Spider-Man did it in the Raimi movies, we see him then encountering his bully literally after he gets his powers, and just like Flash, he literally called Mark a freak. Now, like I said before, he was basically, over the course of episode 1, trying to become a hero, and we see this by, after him training with his dad, he tries to fly, and we see him even going up into space and quite literally crashing into the ground and surviving. And more importantly, we see how Mark is trying to be like Omni-Man and is trying to be a super strong, super capable hero, but he needs a reality check and needs to realize that that's not really how the job works, and not everything is going to work out in his favor. We see this when Mark firstly tries to take on some supervillains and ends up causing more collateral damage and more harm than good. I also like how as Mark is becoming a hero, he also sees the flaws in being a hero and sees the negatives. And it's cool to also see as Mark is being a hero and basically trying to come up with a superhero name, even asking the villain what he should be called, and having a pretty bad superhero outfit, to then getting the super drippy one by the end and getting his superhero name, which, you guessed it, is Invincible. Mark's origin story would then conclude, and his journey as a superhero would only just begin, as we see a threat also rising as Mark is rising to become a hero. After Mark's origin story concludes, we would see the Guardians of the Globe having their personal and human lives, and them being called and interrupted to basically go and meet up at a specific location, where they would then go on to fight Omni-Man, who would be the anonymous threat that would be rising as Mark would be rising. He goes on to brutally murder the Earth's mightiest heroes, and that's how the episode literally ends. Now, I'm not going to break down every episode like this and then get into the topic. That'd be kind of lame, but the reason why I kind of wanted to specifically dive into that of episode 1 was because of what the narrative is trying to tell us and trying to convey to the audience, and we needed the origin story of Mark, and basically episode 1 tells you everything that you need to know to proceed even further. After you are introduced into this world, it's kind of easier to consume the rest of the episodes, and you can honestly just binge your way through it. I think episode 1 of Invincible perfectly represents what is in store for the near future and what is in store for the show in general. Just superheroes, but very twisted and dark. And it's definitely kind of like The Boys, but it's different in its own way, and here is why it's different. We clearly see Omni-Man, who is essentially like Homelander and kind of looks beneath everything. This is unlike his son, who goes as far as to even help out a criminal that he literally was beating up back in episode 1 because he got into a situation, and from that guy's perspective, he wasn't really a criminal, he was just trying to survive. That criminal being Titan, whom we see being not really so bad, you know, sparing a kid when he's fighting some mob gang, and then going on to burn down some houses and help pay someone to basically live in a hotel for a couple weeks. And from his perspective, he's doing everything he can for the sake of his daughter. He goes on to ask Invincible for help, which Mark initially does decline, but Titan then says, you know, he's just gonna fly away from his problems, and Mark then would decide to contemplate on this idea and even talk to his dad about it, who thinks it's kind of beneath Mark and Mark should worry about bigger problems. However, Mark's mother disagrees and believes that Mark needs to make a name for himself and he needs to become his own hero. And it's kind of ironic how Mark wants to be so much like Omni-Man, but in reality he's being a better hero than he ever was. The reason why it changes the superhero genre is because we have these superhero tropes, right? But it does it in its own way. You know, we have the Superman of the verse actually being a spurg, evil, demented moron, which we don't even know his motives at this point. Omni-Man is very similar to that of Homelander, but other than him being less of a weirdo in comparison to Homelander, and more importantly, he actually conflicts with the main character, who thinks it's fine to help out the people on the street rather than, you know, taking out the big aliens. It's very similar to that of Homecoming, but exactly opposite of it, if you get what I mean. I mean in terms of like implications. For example, for Spider-Man, he wants to be a hero, but Iron Man doesn't want him to get in the way. But this time, Omni-Man wants him to be a hero and doesn't want Mark to worry about the little guy stuff, whereas Mark does want to worry about the little guy stuff. And that's the difference between Omni-Man and Invincible. I also like how in this story we have things such as Omni-Man just punching meteors away, brutally murdering the Earth's mightiest heroes, but then we have more grounded stuff like Mark slowly getting up in life and basically getting with the girl he defended back in episode 1 even when he didn't have powers, and we see how his superhero life is affecting his normal life, basically having consequences for his actions. And I like how we see as Omni-Man and Mark are born in episode 1, we see how immediately after they pick up on their superhero slash supervillain tendencies, they're starting to slip up in their normal lives, specifically with Mark, not just with Amber, but also with school, and with Omni-Man, he would be slipping up with his wife, basically his wife having some trust issues. Mark is shown to have similar strength to Omni-Man. He wants to be like Omni-Man, but in the end, or as of right now, even in episode 5, we're not even finished with the show, and Mark's already made a name for himself and is a better hero than his father ever was, and has made a name for himself. Invincible has so many superhero tropes that it's just, it shouldn't work, man. Like, it should be so bland, but it's just not that at all. It takes all these tropes and makes it its own show. It literally does what The Boys does, but does it better. They adapted a comic book into quite literally peak television, in my opinion. And this is my conclusion on why Invincible changes the superhero genre and why you need to watch this show immediately. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys do enjoy, and if you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new because I would greatly appreciate that, and hit the bell icon, that way you're notified and updated when I upload, as YouTube tends to be wonky with those type of things. And if you want more Invincible content, let me know down below and suggest some future videos you would like me to do. I'm gonna make more videos on this definitely once the show finishes, because I do have some narrative stuff I would like to get into. Maybe I can rank all the episodes, maybe talk about the characters, I don't know, you guys let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Have a nice rest of the day.